friends, welcome back to our kitchen. Here we post a video every week for a recipe. For today we're making gluten meat, and we'll go ahead to our ingredients, which are here we have all-purpose home baking flour, and salt. So those are our first ingredients. Someone may be asking why all-purpose home baking flour. I love Elliot's brand, by the way. So I'm using the white wheat flour because we want to obtain the gluten from this flour. We're not using the starchy part, which is refined and fortified. That will be washed away. We're using the protein part of the gluten of the wheat, which remains unchanged even under refining. So the choice of the white wheat flour instead of the brown is that there's a lot of gluten in the white wheat flour as compared to the brown wheat flour, which has less gluten because a lot of the space is taken up by the fiber. So that's my reason, but you can still go for brown if you have an issue. Yeah, so I'm going to use all of it because I don't use wheat flour anywhere else. So I'm just going to pour all of it, and I'll be careful while kneading so that I don't have my water going overboard. Salt is just to add the taste, but it's really optional. Yeah, so I've put on my oil, sorry, my flour, and now I've added my salt. I'm using the normal salt today, and I'm making the dough. So you want to prepare this the way you'll have done your chapatis. Flour, salt, and water. And the dough we want to achieve is like that of a chapati, very hard, and need a little more so that to develop the gluten well. So this is what I'll be doing here. I'll be kneading. Since I'm one-handed, I'll be doing it away from the camera, a little at a time until I finish kneading it. So it's nothing new. Most of us are used to this. Remember, I'm adding the water a little at a time so that I don't go overboard, seeing that I've used all my flour. And the texture we want to achieve is one that is compact and hard, that does not stick. So this is where we are so far. Just 3 minutes of mixing and kneading, and we'll go ahead a little more until now. This is where we are, and now the next step may cause some bakers to go haywire. But what you're going to do is that you're going to soak this dough in a lot of water. Yes. Remember, we don't want the starch, and so soaking will help the starch to be soft, and so that it will be able to dissolve in the water, so that when we wash, it will just dissolve and go away. So we'll do this for an hour, and this is now after 1 hour. You can do it for even 2 hours or more. It's not a big deal. And so we want to wash this dough. I'm fast forwarding it because it takes a long time. So I'll be washing it. That's my first wash. And as we wash it, we'll wash it until the water becomes translucent. And as we wash this, I'd like to put a disclaimer. Gluten is one substance that is very allergenic. There are people who are gluten intolerant, and things like wheat, barley, rye, those are things that they will not come near to, and that is really okay. You need to know whether you're gluten intolerant so that it does not affect you, give you issues like irritable bowel syndrome, like celiac disease, and such things. Also, even if you're not gluten intolerant, I'll just advise that you go slow on this recipe. Go slow on all wheat products. You want to be taking at least once a week. The sad thing with our nation here in Kenya is that we are a wheat eating nation, and we eat wheat from Monday to Monday, from mandazis to chapatis to bread to cakes to biscuits to scones. Yeah, so you want to go slow on recipes with gluten, and especially now that you're extracting the gluten itself, you want to go slow on it. After all, this takes a long process. It is not something that you want to make all the time. Yes, you can make and preserve it in your fridge, but it's not something that you want to eat every day like grains. Yeah, so look at where we have reached after a few washes. Maybe we'll do some one final rinse or two final rinses, depending on how we'll see our water. So that's another rinse again, and this is how it's looking. Actually, this is what we're looking for. Something that is compact, something that is workable. Yeah. So I think we're good to go. Mm, maybe you can do just one more rinse just to kill the curiosity in our hearts. Look at the water. We began from very white and opaque to now translucent. And now here we are. We want to make it compact. This is the gluten so that we can cut it in shapes of meat. Remember, we're making gluten meat. So this is how it is looking. It's like plasticine, but again, very stretchy. Yeah. So I'm just doing this to bring the the gluten together, and then we want to cut this in pieces like that of meat. Here we are. So remember I told you that it is stretchy. It is not cutting so easily, so you have to like hold even the chopping board, and you hold the gluten as well. Here we have black strap molasses, we have coriander, we have ginger powder, we have cardamom powder, we have paprika powder and cumin powder. And again, you're using normal salt. I ran out of Himalayan salt. These ingredients we'll be putting in our broth or our soup to make the broth that will influence how the gluten meat will taste in the end. So this is just for color. I'm using blackstrap molasses for color. You can use soy sauce. They call for soy sauce. I find soy sauce slightly expensive and also slightly salty. So I'd rather use blackstrap molasses and now my homemade spices. Yeah, so here while it is boiling, we'll be cutting this. The water is boiling so that we can cook the gluten. Remember, we've obtained it raw, so we want to cook it in the broth that we're preparing. So here, as you can see, the water has boiled, and also, as you'll see, we have already cut our gluten. It's very stretchy, and I'm gonna surprise you on this because they're going to swell, they're going to double in size, and they're going to look so good. So I'm just adding them, and we'll allow them to boil. I will say that I've used 2 liters of water in this. It should be 2 liters of water. If you use 1 kg of flour, you'll obtain a half a kg of gluten. So it is like half. That is for white wheat flour. I've not yet tried with brown. I'm yet to do it. But yeah. So here, look at it. This is after now it has come to a boil. They have all risen to the top and their sizes have increased. So they'll be boiling like this. I cover them. If they start boiling and I uncover and reduce in size. So this is how they're looking after 1 hour of cooking. They doubled in size. Now they look like they're deflated a little. So this is now after I will say 1.5 hours. Now. This is after I think still 1.5 hours. I think this is the point when it came to a boil and again reduced. And as you can see, the water has greatly reduced. You want to cook it very, very well. So this is now after exactly 2 hours, and the water is greatly reducing. Now 2 hours and 15 minutes, and now we want to use this sieve to drain the water that is remaining or is inside them. So I've just put it in the sink there to drain, and after it has drained, we will now go ahead into frying it or preparing it. And so before we do that, I find baking them before frying gives them a very nice texture. So I've just put here, and I've sprinkled a little salt, just a little salt. Yeah, and allow them to bake. So see, they're watery. And now in a moment you'll see how they'll be looking after like an hour. Look at them. They're now crunchy. They have a firm texture, no water, and they think they're ready now to be fried. Yeah, so these are our ingredients. Yeah, colorful vegetables. I'm sure you may be having all this in your pantry. Here we have green bell pepper, we have tomatoes, we have red onions, we have carrots and cloves of garlic. And so I'm putting a tablespoon of oil. I've put cumin seeds just to give a nice aroma to the gluten. I'm heating it a little. So I love canola oil. You can use olive, you can use coconut. I've added the cloves of garlic and the seeds of the green pepper, or hoho as we call it here in Kenya. So I'm adding my onion. I had julienne them, so I'm just separating them. Yeah, and I'm gonna cook this or saute until it is slightly translucent. Yeah, as you can see, even the garlic has cooked and has changed the color a little. So at this point we're going to add our tomatoes. Give them some time to be a little soft and mashable. And once this is done, you'll realize that you're just cooking them the way you'll have done things like beans and lentils. I've added a little water because I noticed that it was sticking into the pan. So I've added my hoho or my green pepper. And then next I'll be adding my carrots. So I'm sorry I did not show how the time I added my carrots. But yeah, this is just it. And the next thing, as you probably will tell, is the gluten meat. Yeah, the bulk of the recipe. That is what you're going to add next. And just allow it to infuse with these vegetables very well and nicely before you serve it with any meal of your choice. So this is how we made it. Let me know what you think about this recipe. Aside from the disclaimer, let me know if it is worth trying. Yeah, I'll be showing you shortly what I ate it with, how we enjoyed it this in the evening when we made it. And if you like my recipes, please give it a like and comment there, and also subscribe to our channel so that you can be the first person to be notified of any recipes that we post. And this is how we ate it. Yeah, with some arrowroot and spinach and avocado. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day. Bye.